Across the country, there is a looming threat in too many schools. It is propaganda that seeks to divide us. It's what's called critical race theory.
It is an attempt to introduce racism into our schools.
Teaching people to hate our country and hate themselves because of the color of their skin and to have guilt because of the color of their skin, that's just crazy.
Today, I am calling on the State Board of Education to adopt the values that combat critical race theory in their educational efforts, to affirm that Mississippi's public educators will not indoctrinate students in ideology that insists this country or this state are inherently racist. We will not teach that your race determines your status as a victim or an oppressor. No school district shall teach that one race is inherently superior or that an individual is unconsciously or inherently racist because of how they are born. No child will be
In recent months, politicians like Governor Tate Reeves have decried critical race theory.
Mischaracterizations of the theory have led to Senate Bill 2113, which would prohibit public schools from compelling students to believe that any race, sex, or religion is superior to another.
I had so many constituents in my district that were concerned over the teachings that they have heard from around the country. They wanted to make sure that this was not going to be a problem in Mississippi.
We've got a very, very well-tailored bill, I can't say that enough, that I think is in the spirit of Dr. Martin Luther King, this bill.
If the bill passes out of the House, Mississippi will become one of 14 states that ban or limit the teaching of critical race theory.
Very simply put, it's essentially a framework that looks at legal institutions in the United States and how they impact racial minorities. Its focus is really not so much on individuals, but more so on systems of oppression. So it wouldn't necessarily say all white people are oppressors and all Black people are victims, but rather it would sort of seek to look at the classic kind of metaphor would be Maya Angelou's bird in a cage. So it wouldn't really be looking at the bird, but it would more so be looking at the cage.
Mississippi only has one class explicitly about critical race theory. Mississippi Today reporter Molly Menta recently took a look at the class. She found students like Teresa Jones, who linked key critical race theory tenets to Mississippi news. Molly also found Brittany Murphy, a conservative student who was so excited by what she was learning, she talked about the class at a bar. When Brittany found out about the Senate bill, she wrote a letter about her experience in the class and addressed it to all 27 members of the Mississippi House Education Committee.
She put so much heart into her letter, and especially in talking to me, she just kept saying, I really hope people will see how honest I am about my experience in the classroom, how, great it has been and eye-opening it has been for me to learn about these things, even if I don't necessarily agree with everything I'm learning in this class. It's still important that I have, I can see this perspective now.
Brittany is not the only person who has spoken out against Senate Bill 2113.
There are 14 Black senators in this chamber. And these 14 Black senators are telling you that this bill is morally wrong.
So we cannot continue, ladies and gentlemen, Christian friends, my colleagues, of stumbling into the future backwards. And that's what this bill does.
But I do know that we need to continue to examine these intersections about race, and law, and how this whole issue of race has impacted us, how it drives us apart.
Every black senator walked out of the chamber as their colleagues voted to pass the bill. Faculty Senate members at Jackson State University, the University of Southern Mississippi, the University of Mississippi, and Mississippi State University have all passed resolutions in favor of academic freedom.
The fate of Senate Bill 2113 now rests with the House.
If it passes with no changes, it will go straight to the governor to be signed into law.
If you have more questions about critical race theory, join Mississippi Today reporter Molly Menta and Executive Director of the Alluvial Collective, Bon Gordon, for a conversation on March 3rd.